Okay, this is your first multi-voice time writing at 140 words per minute. Your proper names are District Attorney Mr. Carson, El Paso County Jail. I am Mr. Galo.
The witness,
The court.
Mr. Galo.
the witness.
The court.
All the way, right?
Yeah, because no, let's see it.
Oh,
Oh, she's green.
Okay, ready? All right, but in reality, photographs are ordered typically after indictment and prior to trial, when you know you're going to trial.
I couldn't say that.
Okay, now, during the weeks from the time the case was presented to the district attorney and until you presented it to the grand jury, did you or your investigators or sheriff's department investigators ever determine the cause of death?
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. Investigative privilege and work product. That even goes to the grand jury proceedings as to the issue of the cause of death.
Well, you have an initial indictment that was presented that returned by the grand jury that alleges cause of death unknown.
Manner and means unknown.
Manner and means unknown.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a copy of the indictment?
I'm going to put it all in evidence. It's right here, Your Honor.
Can I take a look at it?
So it's your testimony that,
I'm going to sustain that, other than what's alleged in that indictment.
All right.
All right. That's what we're going to operate on the basis of.
so your testimony today is that you were ready within 90 days, which you claim would have been the 25th of April, despite the fact that you and the grand jury have not alleged a cause of death or a manner and means in which the death was caused of the victim.
Your Honor, again, I'm going to re-urge my objections, but I will answer the first part of that question. We were ready to proceed on April 18th, but as to the remainder of that question, I'm going to re-urge the objections that I stated earlier.
Well, I suppose what counsel is asking is in terms of the elements that have been alleged in that indictment. And I'm not here to decide whether that indictment is sufficient or not. The question is, were you prepared to go to trial to prove the elements as alleged in that indictment?
If that's the question, yes.
So the question I have now then is, are you aware of a cause of death that's not alleged in this indictment that's been quashed, the manner and means?
Your Honor, I'm going to re-urge the objections I've alleged before. That goes into the attorney thought process, investigative work, relevance.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
Is it common procedure in the district attorney's office to file a written announcement of readiness for trial subsequent to indictment prior to trial?
No, it's not.
Do you ever file written announcements of ready?
I don't believe this. I think this administration did at one point, but it stopped. It hasn't been doing so for, I don't recall. I think it's been more than a year,
Okay.
to the best of my recollection.
And your testimony from a moment ago is that you are still involved in an investigation of this case. Is that your testimony?
I'm involved in the prosecution of this case.
Are you involved in an investigation? In other words, still attempting to investigate?
To the extent the case has to go before the grand jury, that's called the grand jury. Some people phrase it a grand jury investigation. That's how I'm using it in that context.
Okay, and for this next grand jury, you have subpoenaed witnesses that did not testify in front of the first grand jury?
Your Honor, I re-urge the objection. That's the same question.
Yes or no is all I want.
I'm not sure that it's really relevant. The question is, were they prepared to go to trial on that first indictment within the 90 days?
All right, now, if you don't know, simply say so, and I'll get this from somewhere else. But in fact, was not the date you mentioned, the 26th of January, 1996, you say that's the date that Ms. Carson was indicted. Was arrested. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
In fact, isn't that the date that she was booked in the El Paso County Jail?
I don't know.
Well, you were here at the hearing on the writ of habeas corpus. She was in Okay. So this is your second multi-voice time writing at 140 words per minute. Your proper names are District Attorney's, DA's office, District Clerk's office, 168th or 168th Grand Jury, Applicant's Exhibit number 9, Noel Lopez, Applicant number 9, and Mr. Garcia. Again, I'm Mr. Galo.
The witness?
The court.
Mr. Galo.
The witness?
The court.
Ready? I'll object to the witness arguing. He's got a lawyer over there. He shouldn't be allowed to argue.
Well, they're in a situation where he's in a dual function. He's been called. He's the prosecutor in the case. I'm not going to sustain that, but in what sense are you saying relevant? The bad faith conduct after the fact?
No, I'm looking at bad faith now to determine whether or not it impacts on this suspect announcement of ready, which has only been made today. It hasn't been made any day up until today.
I understand that. The only challenge, though, to the state's readiness that I have heard has been the sufficiency of this indictment.
You mean the only other factor relevant to this issue?
Yeah.
There's no subpoenas. There's no trial date. There's no service of the indictment. They waited for 6 weeks, 7 weeks before they presented it with no reason. They held it back and didn't present it until 90 days. Those are all factors and circumstances relevant to the issue of readiness.
I have no demonstration.
And if they knew that the grand jury was bad,
I have no affirmative demonstration of an absence of evidence, unavailability of a witness, delay in development, or receipt of forensic evidence in the case.
Okay, Judge.
You're throwing out.
I'm going in a different direction. I'm saying on the issue of whether or not there's bad faith on the district attorney's part, this impacts on their credibility, if nothing else.
Your question was there discussion between members of the DA's office and the district clerk's office on or about April 30th or May 1st concerning the existence of the special order for the 168th grand jury?
Well, this is a different question. Are you aware of, and he's already answered that he's not going to answer this without an order. Are you aware of anyone in the district attorney's office discussing applicant's exhibit number 9 with people in the district clerk's office relative to doctoring these documents, altering a governmental document?
Relevance, Your Honor.
No, I have to overrule that.
There was a conversation with the district clerk's office about these documents.
So you're answering yes, that you were aware of someone trying to doctor these documents?
I was not aware of anybody trying to doctor the documents, no. You asked me, was there a conversation with the district clerk's office? Yes, there was.
Who was involved in the conversation?
Noel Lopez, myself, and then representatives from the district clerk's office.
At the time you had that conversation with the district clerk's office, did the rubber stamp file date appear on the upper right-hand corner of what's now in evidence as applicant number 9? In other words, was it placed there before or after the conversation?
It was there.
And was the machine stamp copy appearing on the left-hand portion of that exhibit there at the time?
I believe it was there.
So the conversation would have been on or after April 30th.
Yes.
I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor. Mr. Garcia, you presented this case on April 18th,
That is correct.
and the 90-day limitation
Well, the indictment was presented on April 18th.
on April 18th,
Yes.
and give or take a day, the 90-day limitation would have been a week from then.
Yeah, it would have been in April.
Okay, so if you didn't have all your ducks in a row, if you weren't prepared to indict on April 18th, you had another week to get this done, didn't you?
That's exactly correct.
Okay, so why did you present on April 18th?
Because the state was ready.
All right. In your position at the DA's office, are you working on other cases, or is this your sole responsibility at the DA's office?
No, I'm working on other cases.
All right. So can you dedicate your whole day to this every day, or how much time do you have to give to this case?
Well, it just depends. Some days I can.
Okay, this is your first multi-voice time writing. I'm sorry, you're
No, go
changing
ahead.
those still. And your proper names are Mr. Collins, Mr. Wilson, and Joseph. Now I am going to be Ms. McGuire.
I am the witness.
The court.
Ms. McGuire.
The witness.
The court.
Ready? Thank you. So, Mr. Collins, where were we? We were downstairs and you stepped into the heated argument between your wife and Mr. Wilson, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at some point, did your wife leave the area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then what happened after your wife left the area?
Me and my brother-in-law started arguing.
Well, you were in an argument, correct?
Yes.
What happened next? Did the argument escalate or what?
It escalated.
Into what?
Joseph hitting me in the mouth.
Did he swing first on you?
Yes, he did.
Did he say anything before he did it?
He said, I told you I didn't want to talk to you. That's when he socked me. I went to the ground, and when I was trying to get up, he got me. And that's when he proceeded to have me in a headlock and was choking me out.
Was there any time ever that you were swinging the helmet, his motorcycle helmet, at him?
No, I never started swinging the helmet at him.
When was that?
This was before, no, this was after where I had got away from him out of the headlock.
So then we'll get there in a minute, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you got punched in the mouth,
Yes, ma'am.
went to the ground,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Were you able to get up?
Yes, I was trying to get up. Yes.
What happened after you went to the ground and were trying to get up?
As soon as I was about to get up, that's when he grabbed me and then started wrestling with me. And then we started wrestling.
Let me ask you, how tall are you, Mr. Collins?
I'm 5'5".
Okay. How much do you weigh?
I weigh about 160. 159, 158. About 160, I'll say.
And he, Mr. Wilson, is several inches taller than you, correct?
Yes.
So he, as you're getting off the ground, is when you get grabbed in a headlock.
Yes.
Can you describe how that headlock, what portion of his body was in contact with what portion of your body?
He had his arm around my neck and was choking me out. And at my last breath, I told him, I says, you're killing me. You're killing me. Let me up. Let me up. I said, you're killing me,
So his arm was around your neck, or his hands were?
His arm, well, he had his arm around my neck, was choking me out.
Okay, and were you immobilized?
Yes, he had me mobilized.
Were you able to breathe?
No.
And how did you react to being immobilized with his arm around your neck?
I was panicking because I was unable to breathe, and I was at my last breath to tell him that. You're killing me.
Did he let you up, or did you escape?
No, he did not let me up, I had got up because when I did, with the last strength that I had, I elbowed him in his, I guess, what do you say, rib cage, somewhere around there. And I got up, how I kind of got my balance where I scraped my shin and everything trying to get away. And once I did get away, he acted like he was coming. Well, he did. He was coming towards me, and when he
Is this the next one?
Yes.
Okay, this is your second multi-voice time writing at 120 words per minute, and your proper names are Tottering, Mo Gales, Joseph, and Gales. Ready?
Okay. Let me take that a little bit slower. Okay. You elbowed him and he released you.
Yes.
Okay. And so you made some gestures from seated there that you were sort of tottering for a few seconds before you got your balance as you freed from his grasp. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did he say anything to you as he released you? And
He wasn't saying, I can't remember what he was saying, but I kept saying to him before I elbowed him, let me go, let me go. You're killing me. And he wouldn't let me go.
so you elbowed him, he released you,
Yes, ma'am.
and you tottered a little, got your balance. You said something about he made a step or two in your direction.
Yes. He started to try to, he was coming towards me.
How many steps did he make in your direction?
He made, I want to say, about 2 steps towards me.
Now, this was all taking place in what location?
This was when he released me from the street.
Were you in the street when you were in the headlock?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you tottered and caught your balance and he made a step towards you, that was also in the street?
Yes, ma'am.
And was traffic going around you?
I can't recall.
And so what happened after he made a step in your direction? Did he say anything when he made the step in your direction?
Yeah. He kept on saying, It ain't over. He said, he said, I'm going to call Mo. I'm going to call Mo, and we going to handle this. That's what he kept saying to me.
It ain't over. I'm calling Mo.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Who is Mo?
If you've seen him, he's way bigger than him.
But who is Mo?
Mo is his brother.
Is Mo Gail's brother?
Yes, it is.
Is Mo older than Joseph or younger than Joseph?
He seems older than Joseph.
Backing up a little bit, is Gail's family a large family?
Yes.
How many brothers does she have?
She has 4 brothers.
And Mo is older than Joseph?
Yes, ma'am.
So he told you it ain't over. I'm calling Mo. And what was your reaction to hearing that he was calling Mo?
My reaction is that, I have been through this before with him, calling his brother on me to beat me up. And so I just said, you know what? That's when I ran, when I grabbed this pipe, not meaning to hit him, I noted this motorcycle is his pride and joy, and so all I was doing was coming, was backing up, get back, because,
We are going to take this step by step.
yes.
He said, I'm calling Mo, it ain't over, and your reaction is to do what?
Get him to leave.
So what did you do?
So I went, and when I went, I grabbed this pipe thing there.
How far did you go to grab the pipe?
It wasn't far. Probably from me to maybe to not even quite to the wall.
The back wall?
Not even quite to the back wall. I'm not even that far.
Well, just for the record.
Thank you.
And the engineers do this for me, draw diagrams, so I have a better idea. From the witness stand to the back wall,
That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep these?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure if you retype them.
Oh, you mean like
We
next
just
time we
stop
use them?
this,
Yeah.
right? Right here.
Yes.
So, stop recording?
Yes.